What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. Going to talk about a fight I have not done a video on yet in the lead up to this fight, but I have to do it because it is a fight that I've been looking forward to. I just been kind of lost and, been mixed up with a lot of different issues in boxing and didn't really have a chance to do a video about it. And that is the fight that's happening tonight with Danny Swift Garcia and Adrian Granados. I am really looking forward to this fight because I'm a big fan of both of these guys. And I can't go without making a fight. I can't have an Adrian Granados fight, seeing as the cat is from Chicago and the Chicago area, actually, like right outside of Chicago. And that's the same area that I'm from. Danny Garcia is also a fighter that I like. I've been following for a long time. And I think that this is probably going to be the best fight of the evening, of the main event fights that are taking place this evening. Now, before I get into the details of it and break it down and tell you what I think I'm going to happen and what it means for the welterweight division, I want to welcome you back to the channel. Thank you, subscribers, for subscribing to the channel. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell icon and select all notifications so that you know when we drop more videos. Also, check out the live streams that we do and Monday through Friday, and also a special show that we do on Sunday called OG Boxing Talk. And also thank you Patreons for your support. We got more videos coming onto the Patreon channel soon. So Adrian Granados, who is 20-6 with 14 KOs out of Cicero, Illinois. Birthplace is Berwyn, which is right around the corner from Cicero, is fighting Danny Garcia, the former 147-pound champion of the world, who in his last outing has lost to Sean Porter in a fight for the WBC, in a shot at the WBC welterweight title. And excuse me, I'm sorry. It was I don't think that Danny Garcia has actually held a belt, a 147-pound belt. I think he just fought for it twice, once against Keith Thurman and the other time against Sean Porter. He might actually, then again, man, he might have won it for the vacant WBC welterweight title against, he beat Robert the Ghost Carrera for that belt. And then he lost that belt to Keith Thurman when they unified against Keith Thurman. So, yep, he's the former WBC 140-pound champion. He's also the former WBA and WBC 140-pound champion. So they're going to be going at it today in California. And this is what I think, man. Danny Garcia is in for a very, very tough fight. And I think that this is a better fight than the fight between Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan. And I say that because I think that of the three fighters that are out there, the four fighters that are fighting in the two main events, Terrence Crawford, Danny Garcia, Adrian Granados, and Amir Khan, I think two of those fighters will beat Amir Khan for sure, because one of them already did in Danny Garcia. One is about to tonight in Terrence Crawford. And I give Adrian Granados a fair chance at beating Amir Khan, because Adrian Granados has got an interesting skill set. He is a rough and tough, rugged fighter that comes forward and likes to mix it up, goes to the head nicely, goes to the body nicely, especially against fighters that let their hands, like Amir Imam. Man, that's the first time that I watched Adrian Granados fight was against Amir Imam. Actually, I might have seen him fight a couple times before that, but that's the first time that I really made notice of him was against Amir Imam, where he overcame like a first round knockdown, came back and wound up getting Amir Imam out of there. Amir Imam, man, was a big disappointment for me, man. But you kind of expect that when a guy carries his left hand by his ankles, that eventually, man, that you're gonna, and just relies on his power. But he took that shot from Amir Imam, who was a very, very, very hard puncher, got up, continued to win that fight. So I've been paying attention to him since then. Also, he had a very good fight with Adrian Brawner, nip and tuck fight with Adrian Brawner, had another nip and tuck fight with Sean Porter. Just a very, very tough guy at the 147 pounds division. And, one thing for sure about Adrian Granados is he's going to bring it. So I believe that Adrian Granados, if he was against Amir Khan, would be That would be, he might be able to get to Amir Khan, man. So I think that the two fighters there's the Danny Garcia versus Adrian Granados fight is a better fight than the Terrence Crawford Amir Khan fight, because Adrian Granados, I think, has a legitimate chance to do some damage in that fight and make that a very close fight, make it a tough fight for Danny Garcia. But I honestly do not see Adrian Granados winning that fight. But I do think that is a chance that Adrian Granados can take some of the earlier rounds against Danny Garcia, because one thing about Danny Garcia, he's a very, very smart fighter. He's a very calculated fighter. And even when in fights where he's had some serious mismatches. Well, I guess he wouldn't. Yeah, it was a serious mismatch. The fight with Brandon Rios. Brandon Bam Bam Rios was doing some decent work in the beginning. Also, he definitely has problems with Danny Garcia also has problems with fighters that can move and can box well. That was the case, obviously, with Mauricio Herrera, where a lot of people thought Mauricio Herrera won that fight. I being one of the people that probably would have scored it for Mauricio Herrera. But that's because Danny Garcia lets a lot of rounds go in the beginning of the fight. Same thing that happened with Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia really started coming on in the second half of the fight. Adrian Granados, since he's such an aggressive fighter, and he can box on the outside, he can also fight and get in close and fight in close, which is, I think, probably the best thing that he could do for this fight against Danny Garcia. He has the ability to get up in the first half of the fight. If not in the minds of the judges or on the scorecards of the judges, in the minds of the fight fans. Now, Adrian Granados and Danny Garcia both have something in common, that they keep finding themselves in situations where they believe that they won fights where the judges don't see it that way. Obviously, that was the case with Sean Porter. Actually, 2 of the last 3 fights, that's kind of how it went for Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia felt like he had won on the cards, that he should have won the fight against Sean Porter. I don't see that. I do think that he came on in the second half of the fight, but I think that Sean Porter won that fight and outboxed him. And I think the scorecards in that were 116, 112, 115, 113, 115, 113, and I could agree with that. There was, however, a split decision in the case with Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman's fight was probably a little closer, because I do think that Danny Garcia was landing the more telling shots in the second half of the fight. But still, Adrian Granados also has the same thing. He feels like he beat Sean Porter. He feels like he beat Adrian Bronner. He feels like, he definitely beat Amir Imam. But of the two losses that he's had recently, because he had some earlier losses in his career, but they were pretty much, within the first, the early part of his career before he really had any, major step up fights. Like when he lost to Felix Diaz back in 2014. I think that was the first, of the major step up fights that he lost. But he's the type of guy that, is going to get, because he's just tough for him to get the call, man, because he's always, and I hate to use this phrase, the B side of this. But anyway, that's how I kind of see the fight going. I see the fight being Adrian Granados pushing and, trying to take it to Danny Garcia in the first half of the fight. I see him feeling as if he's up on the cards, pulling some rounds in the first 4 or 5 rounds. After that, Danny Garcia is probably going to figure him out. He's going to start putting on the gas, start hitting him. Obviously, what he's going to be looking for is to land that big left hand. And I'm going to tell you, Adrian Granados prides himself on taking shots and being able to get up from big shots. I don't think he needs to just, if that's his mindset where he feels like he can take any shot and he's going to get up and keep fighting, I think that he should eliminate Danny Garcia's left hook from that equation, because, man, that shot will twist the head of anybody. And I just don't think he needs to, But anyway, I think eventually he's going to hit him with that. I see the fight going the distance, and then I see Adrian in a good fight where people are probably going to be complaining about the outcome at the end of it. I see Danny Garcia winning by unanimous decision, possibly a majority decision or a split decision, but I don't see it going by the way, a knockout. But I do see Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia might actually drop Adrian Granados as well, man, because Adrian Granados, I like how if he can fight on the outside, he does have, he does have nice speed of foot, a faster feet, I do believe, than Danny Garcia. But in that transition and him coming in, I think that's where he's going to get caught. But anyway, looking forward to the fight. Can't wait to see it. And with that, I'm out. Peace.